things change over the course of 100 years, and having the right policies in place so that the ratepayer, the consumer, the resident is not forced out of their home because of the energy prices, it's a very important thing.
I'm here with Michigan State Representative Phil Green. In Michigan, you're part of the House Appropriations Committee, and here at ALEC, you chair the Energy, Environment, and Agriculture Committee. You've just produced, and this is my product placement, the Energy Affordability Report for ALEC. Tell me about some of your findings.
So obviously this is the 5th edition. So over the last 5 years, we've ranked the states from 1 to 50 on the most energy affordable states. The new this year is we also brought in how much it costs for gasoline and diesel. So it's not just electricity, but it is which states are doing it right, bringing the energy costs down, and which states are making it more expensive to live in.
And just some of the research I've done, this is all about maintaining a competitive nature in the state economy, is it not? What's the interest in keeping energy prices low?
Well, obviously, energy prices is something that you have to have. I'm a believer that, you know, with energy, with electricity specifically, I want 2 or 3 basic things. Number one, when I walk into a room and I flip a light switch, I want the lights turned on. And number 2, I want my cold food preserved. And then number 3, I want to be able to afford to do it. And so when a state implements policies that affects the price of energy, it affects families' bottom lines. And having to make really tough decisions on, do I buy food, do I buy medication, or do I have electricity in the house? And you know, there's been policies over the years in Michigan, and I'm assuming other places, where the utilities will actually give you a smart thermostat.
Right.
And then they will automatically control the thermostat, and during the hottest parts of the day they'll turn the air conditioner to where it's not as cold in the house. And so we want individuals to be in control of their own property and to be able to afford it with that.
It's a part of that whole smart house movement, correct? You can even do it from your iPhone or whatever else you have.
I mean, look, I'm all for being smart, and I'm all for saving money and electricity, but you know, when we have government mandates that are causing our prices to be inflated or deflated, whatever the case is, we want to make sure we're looking at those government policies.
Besides having the utilities sort of control your temperature, what are some of the other plans to lower energy prices?
You know, there's a lot of different things, and each state has their own issues. So one of the things I've introduced in Michigan, we just had a huge power outage after a big storm. And the reason for the power outage, believe it or not, was trees. And one of the greatest things that a power company can do to maintain grid reliability is to trim trees so they don't fall on the power lines and take it out. So as we look at that, we're looking at what is the most affordable to produce energy. So obviously we've had the green energy, the renewable energy push, the renewable energy mandates. Without the tax cuts and without the tax credits, is that really the cheapest energy?
Right.
And so then we've been, government mandates, we've been closing down other energy production, and so we're really just taking a look at it and say, what is actually working, and how can we make sure that the ratepayers are first and foremost in the discussions on the cost of energy, not the stockholders in the companies.
How important is it to keep energy prices low in a state like Michigan to attract new business?
Well, obviously, what businesses want, my understanding, brothers and own businesses, what businesses want more than anything is they want stability. They want to know what is true today is going to be true tomorrow. And so when you have major energy fluctuations, you know, in Michigan, we just, during the Democrat trifecta, they passed and I was there, I say they passed because it was a complete Democrat vote. They passed the green energy mandates that everything had to be renewable by 2030 or 2035. And all that did, number one, was it took the price of energy up. So a business is going, okay, what I had budgeted now isn't going to work, and now I have to raise prices. Now I have to make some very tough decisions that get reflected back to the average ratepayer and the average consumer.
So from a novice's viewpoint, I see two issues on energy pricing: the Strait of Hormuz and AI and data centers.
Yes.
How much are they factoring into the energy prices?
So obviously right now, hot topic button, the Strait of Hormuz, the global market with energy and with oil is factoring in, depending on who you're talking to, which, you know, I know I'm the chair of the task force, but sometimes stepping back and asking about common sense, right? So why is it that today, or let's say yesterday, oil was $80 a barrel and it jumped to $90 a barrel and it went up 75 cents a gallon? But tomorrow it went from $90 a barrel down to $80 a barrel and price didn't drop. How is that going on? So you have some questions, right? But looking at the data center topic, this is I believe it's going to be more ongoing than it is maybe the Straits of Hormuz. The data center issue really is going to start surrounding the use of the power use of the utility, and if the state is restricting how much power can be generated through green energy or through renewable energy, and you start restricting that, now all of a sudden we have a problem, because those data centers are going to be drawing power. But what is interesting to note is the majority of those data centers are actually willing to generate their own power if the state allows it. So some of the model policies we've done is allowing SMR, small modular reactors, a nuclear reactor that, boom, gives you that base load, as well as allowing there to be a microgrid. So a data center can have its own power supply and supply power to its own
without impacting
facility.
Other electricity bills around it.
No impact.
Right.
And so there's really some interesting things. If you have the correct policies, having the correct policies in place, you work with the companies, it's amazing how that community can actually benefit and maybe have a grid or some type of structure that is actually paid for by those data centers. So,
gotcha. Is that where ALEC can really help, because you're bringing the private sector and public sectors together to try to solve some of these problems?
Yeah. So in my task force, we have really sort of three entities, right? We have the private sector, we have the public sector, which is the legislators, and then we have sort of that think tank sector that sort of maybe runs some interference on both sides and says, that might be a good idea, but does it actually work, right? And so ALEC has been wonderful, because data centers is not just a Michigan thing.
Right.
It's not, you name the state. So as we get together, we're able to sit down and talk and say, okay, what type of policies did you need in place? And we're able to take those best practices that was successful in other states and then implement it and bring it back and really help our economy to move forward into really the 22nd century.
This is a very fluid issue, isn't it?
It is, and every business is fluid. Right. So whether it's manufacturing, 100 years ago, there really wasn't a lot of manufacturing in Michigan. And then the big three. Okay, so things change over the course of 100 years, and having the right policies in place so that the ratepayer, the consumer, the resident is not forced out of their home because of the energy prices, it's a very important thing.
Now in September you have an Energy Academy that you're hosting.
Yes.
Tell me a little about that.
So through ALEC members, there's going to be about 20 to 25 legislators from all over the country that are going to meet in Louisville. And then in I said 20 to 25 legislators, right? So it's a much more intimate group setting, and then we're able to dive into the energy affordability report. Normally that report is available right about the time of our academy. We're able to dive in, look at those policies. Okay, why is Michigan here and why is California here? Or what are some of these differences? And then really start diving into the nuts and bolts of how energy works, so that when we go back to our states, we're much more educated on the topics.
A lot of it is kind of plugging and playing, right? Trying to find what the best policy is per state based on their characteristics?
Based on their characteristics, based on their existing framework, based on, what this state has done. When you start looking at energy affordability, you start looking at what is included. One of the things we found in Michigan was that the largest property taxpayer is the utility companies. They pay property tax on each pole, on each wire. So if we do property tax reform, we could bring down the cost to our ratepayers,
Right.
because now the utility company isn't paying the property tax, and that would be reflected back. So just a lot of different ways that you can really be creative.
So if I'm going to this, your Energy Academy, what am I going to come away with?
You're going to come away with real life solutions and real life talking with individuals who are actually working the industry. Not a theory, not a philosophy. It's going to be, okay, here is what is happening. Here are the policies nationally, whether it's pipelines or cross-line transmissions or solar panels, windmills, or nuclear energy. You're going to find out what is working in the industry and really what we're looking forward to for the next 20, 25, 50 years.
Well, best of luck to you. I know that we're lucky to have you as we look at the energy issue. I'm with Representative Phil Green of Michigan, and we're here at the 2026 ALEC annual meeting in Orlando, Florida.